Did you know that one of the largest stars in the universe, Betelgeuse, is nearly 950 times larger than our Sun? But there is a cost for that. Betelgeuse is no different from other stars in that it has a lifespan, but it's a ready-to-detonate ticking time bomb. One of the most dramatic cosmic events in our universe will be its demise, and Earth will be able to see it. But when will it finally end dramatically? How would this end impact the Earth? Will the universe ever again be the same? Join us as we explore how Betelgeuse is finally exploding in September 2022. The first image that comes to mind when someone mentions Betelgeuse might be Betelgeuse, the undead trickster from the film of the same name. However, the star of the same name, one of the brightest celestial objects we can see in our sky, is most likely being discussed if the word Betelgeuse is used in a group of scientists. Additionally, some people find it fascinating since they think it could mean the end of our species and world. Betelgeuse is a Class M red supergiant that is roughly 20 times as large and 100,000 times as bright as our Sun. This powerful star, which can be seen in the constellation of Orion, is thought to be 400 to 650 light-years from Earth. It is also one of the brightest stars that are currently known, with a fluctuating diameter that ranges from 550 million miles to 900 million miles, depending on how its expansion and contraction are measured. This enormous scale implies that Betelgeuse would totally envelop Earth without a second thought, extending from the core of our solar system past the orbit of Mars and possibly matching the extent of Jupiter's orbit. It's a good thing it's not our next-door neighbor, don't you think? Its estimated age is 10 million years, which indicates that it's nearing the end of its lifespan for a star the size of Betelgeuse. Considering that we're discussing cosmological time, which is measured in millions or even billions of years rather than decades like human life, the phrase approaching the end is obviously relative. Larger stars burn up their fuel considerably faster than smaller stars, despite having a mass 20 times that of the Sun. For instance, our Sun, which is 4.6 billion years old, won't exhaust its hydrogen supply, its fuel, for another 5 billion years. However, Betelgeuse is guzzling its fuel and blasting out light at an astounding rate, making it for the most of the year the 10th brightest star in the night sky. There is nothing brighter on the infrared scale. Betelgeuse is a dazzling, unusual, and incredibly luminous star in our sky, but all of these features also indicate that when it runs out of fuel, it will do so in a fairly dramatic way. You guessed it right, Betelgeuse will go supernova in the future. A supernova, or the violent death of a huge star, is one of the most dramatic celestial events in our universe. Such a star eventually runs out of fuel through nuclear fusion and collapses under the weight of its own vast mass. However, when the density at the core reaches a specific threshold, it rebounds outwards in a catastrophic explosion. Betelgeuse is one of the biggest stars we've ever found, therefore its eventual explosive conclusion may also be one of the most magnificent supernovae in millions of years. A supernova's initial explosive explosion can happen in less than 2 minutes, but the radiation that is subsequently sent racing out into space at the speed of light may continue to stay at its maximum brightness for months before finally fading and dimming. Betelgeuse is classified as a Type 2 supernova since it will explode due to core collapse and is such a huge star. On the other hand, Type 1 supernovae are thought to result from mass being sucked into a white dwarf when a star is in a binary system, like when a twin eats its sibling while still in the womb. Given the scale of Betelgeuse, it will put on quite a show when it ultimately dies, as some superluminous supernovae can be brighter than an entire galaxy of stars. This star, as was previously indicated, is unquestionably nearing the end of its lifespan and is predicted to explode in a supernova sometime in the next million years. In light of this, it should be noted that estimations of star lifespans and death rates are just that, estimates. Astronomers disagree on the star's expected lifespan. Some believe that it's approaching its maximum size and may collapse within the next 100,000 years, which is a mere blink in the scheme of cosmic time. But in reality, even if Betelgeuse explodes tomorrow, the world won't end as a result. Betelgeuse is 600 light-years from Earth, which may seem close compared to other objects that are millions of light-years away, but it is still a considerable distance. The star Alpha Centauri is the closest to Earth, being a little over 4 light-years away, which means it takes 4 years for its light to reach our eyes on Earth. Betelgeuse may have already gone supernova, yet we haven't yet seen the light from the explosion. Don't worry though, if you've just been thrown into a frenzy over the meaningless of the cosmos and the unavoidable destruction of Earth by the Betelgeuse supernova, Betelgeuse is still far enough from Earth that even if it produces one of the greatest supernovae ever, it wouldn't be the end of humanity. The material that was physically ejected from the explosion would ultimately reach Earth, but it would cool off considerably before it did and would have little impact. Such a large explosion would produce slightly more radiation, but not enough to ionize or blast away our atmosphere. Although it is challenging to completely predict a supernova's effects, we do know that more than one supernova has happened in our cosmic neighborhood over the past few million years, and the fossil records from those periods suggest that neither of the supernovae under study seems to have harmed life, and both occurred in stars twice as close to us as Betelgeuse. There is some chemical evidence that they exist, but there is no evidence that they've had any dramatic or climactic effects on the globe. But before securing prime viewing positions for Betelgeuse's spectacular finale, what harm may an exploding star cause to Earth? Consider stars are similar beings to nuclear power facilities. You're staring at a catastrophe of cosmic proportions if they blow up. Anything within 50 light-years of the Betelgeuse explosion will experience powerful shock waves and be engulfed in radiation and dust. But will we make it through the planetary eruption? Actually, we think so. We will only experience sadness as a result of Betelgeuse bursting. It will be sad to say goodbye to the star that shines the brightest in the constellation of Orion. But if it's any consolation, we're going to witness a really bright light in the sky down here on Earth. It might possibly be brilliant enough to compete with a full moon at night and be visible during the day. You won't be able to miss it though, as this light show is set to last for quite a while. This is due to the 650 light-year distance between the source of the light and our galaxy, like was mentioned earlier. And although the occasion will be beautiful to witness, Betelgeuse will be calling its farewell tour to a close, and that's it. Betelgeuse, it has been a delight. We're about 10 times too far away to feel any repercussions from the explosion. Well, that would be a different story if we weren't. The radiation and gamma waves from the explosion of Betelgeuse would fry our atmosphere and cells if we were too close to it. High radiation doses can burn and damage your skin, alter your genetic makeup, and even be fatal if prolonged. Particularly, gamma radiation is extremely potent. Even more intense than light itself, it is pure energy. It would literally be lights out for all of us if Betelgeuse were closer to Earth. Everything, including people, animals, and plants, would be toast. Even though the process of becoming a supernova takes years, an explosion that large from a star that massive would obliterate life on Earth in seconds once the radiation hits us. There would be no planet in our solar system that is safe from the explosion, even if we had interplanetary ships to leave in time. Betelgeuse is just that large. There, are you content? No one survives in this scenario. Fortunately, we are too far away from Betelgeuse for the explosion to have any immediate, noticeable, or negative consequences on us. Betelgeuse will erupt, but it probably won't happen for another 100,000 years. However, it could happen at any time from now. Astronomers will have to reconsider the structure of Orion when it does disappear. Despite the fact that it might not create a significant hole in the universe, it will leave a hole in our hearts. Let us know what you think in the comments section below.